Have you tried to think when we're young, you with your parents shooting in the shopping mall, and then could you remember what was the music playing in the background at that time? Let me give you an example. It sounds like this. Alright, hang on. That may just for someone who born in 70 or 80, that's just meant for them. But okay, let's say memory. Could be anything to spark the memory. An object, a feeling, a space, or could be a moment. But have you tried to think when you saw the image of space, it could bring you back to the memories, and it let you feel nostalgic? You think you may come here before. It's like walking in the dream, but you can't tell when it happened. The space, which may pass go by, everyday's commuting, or the space hang out with friends, shopping mall, station, parks, etc., etc. At the same time, you may fully focusing on chatting with your friends, but you may not take note of what happened around you. For example, what is the space going to be look like? What the shape of it? What material does it use? What the color on it? We can't tell. People do not pay attention to it because it is not the point we're focusing on it. Those elements become like fragments of your memories, but it does not become a wedge of you. Recently, you may see those kind of weird photo posts on social media. Some of those may give you that feeling, and people call this liminal space. Alright, let's get back to 12th of May 2019, and a new user posts an image on 4chan paranormal section. He just left messages that said post describing image that feel off. Then among with more and more viewer participating upload photos has a same feeling, and it's certainly become a topic on the social media. More people's reaction after watch those photos. Some of them feel deja vu, and some of them feel nostalgic, and mix a bit like unknowable fear. When it mentioned feeling off, what the hell is that meaning?
我觉得，当你已经无法去轻易的去辨识说眼前所见的这些影像，它是真的还是其实就像梦境一样，它是被很多东西堆叠在一起的时候，我就会觉得用一个英文字去形容它比较贴切，叫 uncanny。它是一个你无法指认，它也不到恐怖，也不到离奇，就是觉得说不上的一种不协调的感觉。例如说，你在一个人来人往的台北的路的街头，但是你却没有看到任何的行人。所以，如果说我想要拍一个十字路口的这种街道，这种 urban 的一种街道，但是它却没有人，那会不会其实这种街道它其实是没有提供任何的功能性？就是它要让人去行走，它要让车停，然后那个绿灯走，红灯停的这种状态，但是它却缺乏了人跟车，所以我会觉得，这些东西它吸引我的地方是一个空间，它不再具备当下它能提供使用的一个状态的时候，它就会变成很接近 liminal space。
A fiction wrote by Meg Rain and Janquit 2020, they defining the liminal space. The liminal space, the transition space between one point and the next. The space where possibility lives. Here is the shopping mall photo. Compare with this. It's give two totally different feeling, right?
它就变成只是一种视觉的一个景象。然后我们其实也很容易会对于某种落差感，它感到一种很特别的感受。例如说，我们可能会觉得，像你有提到， 这几个商场的照片，为什么给人的感觉跟我们平常看到的不一样？是因为它并没有任何的顾客，它并没有任何的人在里面采购东西，所以这个商场它本身就不具有一个功能性，然后我们才会觉得这个商场感觉是不是闹鬼了，是不是发生了什么事情？所以我们会不断的去添加许多的想象空间在里面，也是因为我们人很会去猜测，很会去做一些不必要的联想。
Thinking of the space like stations, malls, gas station, parks, underground, those spaces are usually have people we see when they commuting, but most people may not keep attention to it because it's not the focus point. When those spaces certainly disappear, the main element to support the whole content, it gave the viewers a feeling of peaceful but its lack of vitality. So why liminal space will give people nostalgic emotions? Imagine this as a life timeline. Each stage of a life, a story of the milestone. It combines the past and the future. Let's say when you had a really good time that day, you think it's the best day in your life. You should remember everything on that day. You are on the road trip with your friends. The sun shines through the windows. You listen to music together. You still have the sense of what exactly the days, the air, what is that smells like. It become your long-term memory. After a few weeks, you may still remember what happened on that day, maybe a month. After a long period of the time, the matters become dim. The detail fall apart like a puzzle. You only can think the memories just roughly. So the liminal space image like you pick up a slice of puzzle in the dark, you see it, but you can't tell what's the part of the memory you should connect with. Feels like you're playing fire. It is warm, but when you touch it closely, you will get hurt. The best memory is like a trauma. Keep it in your timeline, but someday, like you watch liminal space, it is like a trigger of the PTSD. All through most of my childhood background was based in China, might be easier to find those kind of spaces in my hometown area, and it is more reasonable for me. So I want to use this opportunity to search those kind of spaces in Australia and the spaces which feel liminality for me. Our living in one of three places. The first place is home, and second one is where you work, and the third places could be other places outside those two. Let me just talk about the medium I choose for this project. I using the 120 film camera and a couple rolls of film. And the reason why I think using that kind of analog device to create a work and it slow down my workflow, and is let me more thinking about the frame itself and content, trying to like convert to the audiences and try to spend more time to communicating with the space itself. Then why using film? So I think film is more like human sense. It could feel the temperature of the environment you shoot. And it is more representational exposure of the photo to the audience. So shooting a space is like expression form of describing a lifestyle silently. And it also could be a behavior of perspection, a resonant relationship between the existing object and the object you shoot. About the space I picked for the shot for this experimental project, which may be a bit far away from this high density kind of city area, but those spaces should be have some people make pass go by. So I designed to go to South Australia to search those kind of spaces to shot. They are quite strange for me and makes a bit like mystery. But the good things, I have one of my wonderful friends, Richard, who helped me documenting this project. He is a filmmaker based in South Australia. At the same time, it just led me to think about a project by Tidal. he shot a project called House Hunting. I think his work is much closer than the liminal space I shoot. The first place I find was like a gate of an observator. At the same time, we were just driving back to the home from the airport. Then we have across to the mountain road and accidentally saw these spaces, and it was very foggy weather on that night. Maybe the location is on the high altitude and we can't see the object clearly, and I think at the moment is everything just on point, so I just decided to take the photo and set it up. At the midnight, we just went to the gas station and try to fill up the cars. So I find this Long Leaders gas station, I think it's very interesting place to shoot, especially at the night. And the gas station is like a lighthouse on the highway when driving a long day long. And this is the places could like chill out from, just try to get away from the mental stress when you're driving a whole day long in empty dark highway. You can't see anything in the side of the highway, but you just realize the gas station is no one there, and a sense of loneliness is come over your head, and still have a bit of cozy on that night. The last space I want to share on this episode is Edge of Town. I surprisingly to find this telephone booth standing alongside of the road, and it's keep the lights on, and the combined with the cold and wet weather on that night, could see the yellow light just mapping on the wet kind of road, and the shadow was working pretty good, and the whole frame just give very strong luminosity feeling to the viewer. I hope it makes sense. Actually, I still take a lot of spaces of photo on this trip. I would like to make a photo book in the future, and yeah, if you're very interesting about the liminal space, please just keep an eye on my channel and social media. I will post more works on there. And thank you for your watching, and I will see you in the next episode.